Guys, I'm going to be doing my presentation today on cryptocurrency, and it's the technology behind Bitcoin. First question to everybody, who wants to be filthy freaking rich? I'd say that's about everybody out there. Well, if you'd gotten in on Bitcoin at the beginning, you would have had an excellent chance of becoming very wealthy. Back in 2011, the value of a Bitcoin, as you can see on the graph here, was under $1. That's just a few years ago, 5 years ago. If you'd spent 10 minutes in 2011 to mine a single Bitcoin, it would have been worth $28,119 on November 29th, 2013. Just 10 minutes to do it. Today, that same Bitcoin would be less worth than half of its peak, only $10,400. It's still a pretty nice return on your investment, but it kind of proves the volatility of the currency. So speaking of a currency, what exactly does that entail? What makes a currency a currency? Well, first, it has to be a medium of exchange. Essentially, that means people will accept the currency for goods or services. You need to have a unit of account, which means it's easily measured and divided. Interestingly, a Bitcoin can be divided 100 million times. That's the smallest unit of measure, and it's actually called a satoshi. So essentially, 1 cent would be a satoshi, the lowest denomination. And that's an homage of the creator of Bitcoin. And it also has to store value, essentially meaning that, well, it's not going to be so volatile as it's shown that it is. Over time, you expect to be able to get the same amount that you put into it, the same value. All right, so that leads us to what is a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange using cryptography to secure the transactions and to control the creation of new units. What this essentially means is your computer or graphics processor is used to solve complicated math problems that are associated with each Bitcoin. As the processor accomplishes these tasks, the currency is unlocked, controlling the creation of more coins. More miners lead to more complex math problems, which require more computing to unlock. So there's several different types of cryptocurrencies out there. Dozens, in fact. I'm just going to run down a few of them real quick for you to kind of show you the different niche markets that they are used for. Bitcoin, of course, is the most famous or infamous, depending on who you're asking. It was the first decentralized ledger currency. I'll speak more on that later since it's the most prevalent one. There's a Aurora coin. It was created as an alternate to fiat currency in Iceland. There's Dogecoin, which was actually based on an internet meme. Litecoin, it's got a script currency. Ethereum, which is one of the, what many think is the future of cryptocurrency. It essentially is more secure. Kind of offers an escrow situation when you're doing transactions. There's a few more types. There's Dash. It's just decentralized. There's Peercoin. There's Titcoin, which is the first cryptocurrency to be nominated for an adult industry award. There's Potcoin, which is similar to that, used in the legal cannabis industry. Here's the meme that the Dogecoin is actually based on. This kind of was created through Reddit in a lot of ways and kind of took traction. And as it continued on, there's quite a bit of circulation with this coin. The more something is sought after, the more valuable it becomes. So who actually engineered BitCoin, the blockchain? It's a pretty interesting question. There's a guy, Satoshi Nakamoto. He's actually credited with the invention, but nobody really knows who he is. Nobody's been able to get a hold of him. It's kind of a mystery. The name is presumed to be a pseudonym, and people actually think that there's a team of engineers that came up with this. And interestingly, nobody has actually taken credit for it. It's pretty fascinating for such a monumental invention that nobody would claim. It's interesting to think about why somebody wouldn't want to take claim to an invention like that. So behind Bitcoin is the blockchain, and each of these blocks have to be deciphered to unlock the Bitcoin. Variable blocks, linked. Now once your processor solves one of these, it's permanently saved to the ledger. So no matter what, it will be associated and it cannot be lost because all the other nodes that are associated with it will verify that, and they will know that that the Bitcoin is verified. Once a new coin once a problem is solved, a new coin is created, creating the chain, one after another. More on the blockchain. At the beginning of Bitcoin, it took about 10 minutes to solve a Bitcoin block with your average processor. Each block that you solved would unlock 25 Bitcoins. And once that answer was had, it would be saved, as I was saying before, on the nodes, and it would be verified on all the other ones. Interestingly, there's been talk of sending one of the nodes up into space so nobody could tamper with it. And that way, it would be just more secure. I wouldn't say, totally secure, because where there's a will, there's a way, and Star Wars and whatnot, but it's pretty fascinating what the lengths people will go to protect their money. Now, the difficulty of solving each problem regulates creation of new coins. More complex the problem, the longer it takes to unlock, etc. Okay, here's a little visual explaining how the blockchain actually works. As it's being decrypted, the computer actually computes and records all the transactions that are being used via Bitcoin. What this means is that there is a copy of every transaction of a Bitcoin that is used through the blockchain, and it has to be verified or it will be flagged immediately, and the transactions won't go through. Okay. So that leads us to how do we actually get started with mining these Bitcoins. We're trying to get rich here. You used to be able to use just computer processors to unlock them yourselves. Then people figured out that they could use high-speed graphics processors, and they were better at processing the type of problems that the Bitcoin math problems created. Now today that's no longer possible. There's just not enough computing power. There's too many people attempting to mine, and if you tried to do that, you wouldn't end up getting any Bitcoins. Today it's recommended that you use an ASIC chip, which offers 100 times the capability of the older systems. Okay, Okay, a company called Avalon offers custom-built systems for Bitcoins. That would probably be the place to start if you were really trying to get a system and you wanted to be serious about this. After that, you need to go and download some Bitcoin mining software, which is freely available online. The two most popular are CG Miner and BFG Miner, which are command line programs. And there's also another option called Easy Miner, which offers a graphical interface solution if that's more your speed. Which hopefully after command line, that's nobody in here. Okay. So I was speaking. Okay, so there's also cloud-based mining services. Since I was speaking before about how it's difficult to actually do this on your own, if you get on a mining service, it greatly simplifies the process. Now you increase your risk because you don't have end-to-end control of the hardware, and you know, as things are going across the internet, people can snoop on that. Now there's a company called Genesis Mining. It's the biggest cloud-based mining service. If you're wanting to go that route, I would recommend using it. Now, if you didn't want to do a cloud-based service, you could join others in a Bitcoin mining pool. What this essentially is it's a group of people who get together and they all try to use their processing power to solve one Bitcoin. And after it's solved, if that group of people actually solves it and gets awarded the Bitcoin, they will, that Bitcoin will be broken up and it will be distributed amongst the people that were in the pool. Yeah, without joining a pool, you might have your computer running all year and not get one Bitcoin. The best option for this is called a P2 pool, which is peer-to-pool, and that's what's recommended. So after that, you're going to need somewhere to store these Bitcoins. They call that a Bitcoin wallet. It's similar to a traditional wallet. It holds your money, it holds your currency. But with this type, it can actually be software, it can be used in your mobile phone, or it can be web-based. You have a unique address, which is yours and only yours, so you are totally in control, but you're also, if that's lost for any reason, or you forget your password, those coins can just be lost forever. It's very important to have a two-factor integration, authentication process, which essentially doubles up your security and makes sure that you're secure and the security is there. Now, an example of a Bitcoin wallet would be Copay. It's probably the most user-friendly. It can go across iOS, Android, Linux, Windows. It pretty much is the most versatile wallet out there that I've found. I've got a little video here that's going to help, it's animated, it might help explain the process a little further.
It operates as a peer-to-peer network. This means that everyone who uses Bitcoin is a tiny fraction of the bank of Bitcoin. But where do Bitcoins come from? With paper money, a government decides when to print and distribute money. Bitcoin doesn't have a central government. With Bitcoin, miners use special software to solve math problems and are issued a certain number of Bitcoins in exchange. This provides a smart way to issue the currency and also creates an incentive for more people to mine. And since miners are required to approve Bitcoin transactions, more miners means a more secure network. The Bitcoin network automatically changes the difficulty of the math problems, depending on how fast they're being solved. In the early days, Bitcoin miners solved these math problems with the processors in their computers. Soon, miners discovered that graphics cards used for gaming were much better suited to this kind of math. Graphics cards are faster, they use more electricity, and generate a lot of heat. The first commercial Bitcoin mining products included chips that were reprogrammed for mining Bitcoin. These chips were faster, but still power-hungry. ASIC, or Application-Specific Integrated Circuit chips, are designed specifically for Bitcoin mining. ASIC technology has made Bitcoin mining even faster while using less power. As the popularity of Bitcoin increases, more miners join the network, making it more difficult for individuals to solve the math problems. To overcome this, miners have developed a way to work together in pools. Pools of miners find solutions faster than their individual members, and each miner is rewarded proportionate to the amount of work he or she provides. Mining is an important and integral part of Bitcoin that ensures fairness while keeping the Bitcoin network stable, safe, and secure. For more information about Bitcoin mining, visit bitcoinmining.com.
I just kind of reiterated some of what I was talking about in animated form.
It's Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin operates as a peer-to-peer network. Bitcoin mining.
Okay, so there's a lot of misconceptions out there about Bitcoin, and here's some of the frequently asked questions I'd like to go ahead and address. Is Bitcoin legal in the United States? Yes, it is. Payments are actually subject to taxes and the same reporting as any other income that you have. Some of the advantages of using Bitcoin. There's payment freedom. If you're dealing with a bank, it's going to be closed on holidays, it's going to be closed afternoon on Saturdays, it's not open Sundays. This kind of provides a payment freedom where your money is always accessible. So there's no borders. If you're wanting to transfer money to somebody in another country, you don't have to go through an intermediary. You don't have to go through somebody else who's going to take a cut. And you don't have to deal with borders or any of the extra fees that go along with traditional banking. Now there's also fewer risks for the merchants. Bitcoin transactions are secure. There's much less fraud. It's very difficult for there to be any fraud. They can also expand to new markets. Let's say you wanted to set up shop somewhere where they didn't accept credit cards. Well, if you had a Bitcoin operation, then you could still get your business out there and you could accept that as payment. Bitcoin is transparent and neutral. You know how many are going to be created. There's not going to be some governing body that creates a lot more of it and devalues what's out there. That's a big problem with fiat currencies. Okay, so we've talked about the advantages. What about some of the disadvantages of Bitcoin? There's a degree of acceptance. Essentially, if people don't know about it, they don't accept it, well, it's not really worth anything to you if they're not going to accept it as payment for your goods or services. As I spoke of earlier, the volatility of the currency. In 2011, it was worth $1. In 2013, it was worth $1,100. Now it's worth about $400. So you wouldn't want your whole nest egg in something that volatile. It's also an ongoing development. It's very much a beta technology. It's still in development, and there's a lot to be learned about it. Okay, so what if it's a fully virtual currency, you don't have any hard coins or material money, what happens if you lose your wallet? Well, you're pretty much SOL at that point. The coins are not recoverable. They'll still be in existence, but they'll just be essentially taken out of the currency. There's just no way to recover them because nobody else has that mathematical solution on the ledger. And the ledger has assigned that to your specific wallet, to the individual who's authenticated it. Now, a big question about Bitcoin is it scalable? The United States economy, the petrodollar is worldwide. Trillions and trillions of dollars are out there. Bitcoin is very small in comparison, and people are worried that it's not going to be able to scale. If it really did take off, that they wouldn't be able to, the technology would essentially fail. It's not determined whether or not that will happen yet. It's still too much in its infancy to know. All right, conclusion. Let's see. Let's talk about beta state. The blockchain's goal, the ultimate goal of a Bitcoin and the currency and cryptocurrency is to protect the users of the currency. It allows them to have transaction amongst themselves without a controlled government or any mega corporations controlling the currency. It enables monetary freedom, and it hopes to someday help with a worldwide currency. With that, conclude and ask any questions out there. Tyler?
You mentioned two-factor authentication.
Yes.
Do you use any sort of two-factor authentication service?
I actually don't have any Bitcoins right now, but essentially that the two authentication would be your wallet with your password, and then sometimes there's a random generated number that you can have with it's like a piece of hardware that you have that over time is always, each hour it sets up a new one. So even if you were compromised and somebody got your wallet password, if they didn't have that piece of hardware that you keep, then they wouldn't be able to access any of it.
Right. I've heard of such services like Google has their own two-factor authentication service for for mobile devices.
Yeah, pens.
Such devices like YubiKey, it's like a little USB key that generates the one-time password.
Right. A lot of poker sites have done the same thing with people who have a lot of money in their account. Instead of possibly having it compromised just by the one step, as you have the other. So, yes, Marcus.
Is there an exchange?
Yes, there are. Mt. Gox, you have to join an exchange to actually have somebody else buy your Bitcoins or to trade them. And that sets the market. Now, most of them were in the United States and were all in dollars, but that's recently changed. More of them have gone international. It's gotten into China, and the Chinese market has actually thought to increase the value because so many more people are interested because of how controlled their monetary system is. Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
Good job.